Hello, welcome back. It's Christopher Taylor with Sovereign Harmony, here to give you the February 2025 update. So you can see my screen here. It's just a short list of some of the astrological goings on for this month of February. Today is Thursday, or Friday, sorry, January 31st. So this starts to go into effect tomorrow, February 1st. And then I'm going to start coming back and doing these once a month, just as a standard. I'm not sure why I didn't do that before. Usually I just kind of like randomly do them when things are happening. But I think I'm going to start doing these once a month, no matter what is going on. That way, just kind of keep things a little bit shorter, a little bit more concentrated, and get to the point a little easier. So anyway, the first thing that I want to talk about this month, what's going on right now, it started a few days ago. If we use a 1-degree orb, this Neptune conjunct the moon's north node in late Pisces, started around the 26th, about 5 days ago. That's going to be with us through the 22nd. And if you use a larger orb, then it's going to be around even longer than that. But this Neptune, the ruler of Pisces, essentially conjunct the north node in Pisces. It's really a time of putting trust into life, surrendering, letting go. Okay, those are kind of the themes, the Piscean themes, Neptunian themes. And so we're being challenged when the North Node is always pushing us forward into the future, whereas the South Node is kind of what we're coming from, what we're leaving behind, etc. So this is really telling us that, by putting trust into our lives right now, that's really the path to take at this time. So we don't have to have all the details. We don't have to control every little piece of everything that's going on. We don't have to direct everything. It's important for us to just kind of let God take over at this point in a lot of ways. So wherever that falls in your chart, that's an area of your chart where you want to be letting go, you want to be trusting. Okay. On a more collective scale, this is it's a time to be careful and really pay attention. When Saturn comes in and does the same thing with the North Node in Pisces, it'll conjunct the North Node in late Pisces in April. Look for this time right now, where we have the Neptune aspect, and then again in April. I'll remind you of that in a few months, a couple months actually away. That's when Saturn's going to be there. That's when things kind of come into fruition, manifestation, whatever word you like best. So there could be some things we're dreaming up right now that could land here in April. But also on a negative side, if there's any kind of nonsense in the media, for example, like narratives and things that aren't true but are being portrayed as true right now, it'll become very clear in April that it wasn't true. Okay, as I've talked about that before, with Saturn joining Neptune in Pisces, it's really kind of like cleaning up a lot of the misinformation that can be associated with Neptune in Pisces, and Saturn in Pisces is kind of showing us what reality is in a lot of ways. Anyway, so again, most of the month, good time to, again, let go, trust, process, allow life to kind of take us where it's going to take us. Okay. And so that's the first thing on that list. This is what it looks like here in the chart. So there's Neptune, Venus, there's the moon. Also on Saturday, tomorrow, February 1st, the moon will actually be there with all that going on. So Saturday afternoon into the evening could be an interesting time. That's tomorrow, February 1st. Kind of like a magic in the air in a sense with the moon there as well. So Saturday night, you look to the western sky after sunset, you're going to see a crescent moon. We're just coming off of the new moon from Wednesday, the 29th. We had the new moon in Aquarius. Uranus turned direct yesterday on Thursday. And now that moon, which we haven't seen since the new moon, we'll see it for the first time on Saturday night with Venus. So it'll be a very bright star. That's Venus next to the crescent moon. Neptune is not visible to naked eye, and the North Node is just a point. It's a mathematical point, not an object. So the only thing you'll see is the crescent moon with the bright Venus. But again, that'll be an interesting day, interesting weekend coming up here. The next thing on our list is Jupiter turning direct. So this will be on February 4th, just a few days from now. Jupiter's been retrograde since, I believe, early October. And it's been in Gemini the whole time. And so Jupiter has been in Gemini since spring. It's retrograde now. It's going to move forward, and it's going to keep moving forward right on through most of Cancer, the sign of Cancer. It won't enter Cancer till, I believe, June. But it's going to, so it's on its final rung here in Gemini. So it turns direct on February 4th. it'll move through the rest of Gemini for a few months, and then it'll be gone. And so Jupiter and Gemini, going back to the idea of like information and different perspectives and things like that. So this whole past, like say 8, 9 months of time has been a time of, a lot of information, having to digest a lot of information. So lots of different perspectives. So two things that are supposedly true, and we have to figure it out. What is actually true, or at least what's true for us. Okay, and so this Jupiter turning direct in Gemini, we may find that we get some clarity on some things. So if there's been like multiple options, multiple things to choose from, we might find that this last move through Gemini, we're kind of making some decisions based on what we've contemplated. So there's Jupiter right there. So that's where it's going to be situated when it turns direct on February 4th, and it'll be turning direct while making a trine to the Sun and to Mercury, essentially within a few degrees there. So again, that speaks to the idea of decision making. Okay, so if we've been going back and forth with different options, et cetera, since the spring, really, potentially, but especially this fall, these fall and winter months, because of the retrograde. Now with the prograde moving forward, it's moving forward with Sun and Mercury. So those are in Aquarius. So this is really about making decisions for the future. Okay, so we're gonna probably make some pretty big decisions over the next few months. Like I said, Jupiter enters Cancer in June. So from here, right in early February to early June, that's about 4 month period. We could be making some pretty big decisions over that time. Next up on the list, we've got, we're gonna have a full moon and a new moon in every month. So that'll be part of these monthly check-ins, etc. But the full moon will be on February 12th. So about a week after Jupiter turns direct. And that's going to be at 24 degrees Leo. So again, look at your chart, wherever that 24 degrees Leo is in your chart. This is a place of culmination happening here. And this is an interesting full moon. So there's the moon there at 24 degrees Leo, obviously opposite the Sun at 24 degrees Aquarius. And Mercury's pretty close to the Sun for this one. And notice the hard square triangle here down to Uranus in Taurus. And Uranus, again, just turned direct yesterday on the 30th of January. So that's intimately linked, pretty close within a 1 degree orb of that full moon. So that's going to be pretty significant. And the fact that it's going direct now, it feels like we're culminating and moving forward again toward that future, toward that, Uranus representing or ruling Aquarius, which has to do with the future, et cetera. And it's in Taurus. So it's kind of like if we've been in the mud, for example, like there's a sense of, culminating at a heart level and kind of knowing, which direction to head, essentially. Okay. And so it kind of builds on that theme of Jupiter turning direct and moving through the rest of Gemini, where we're making some decisions. And this could be some pretty big changes that we could be, could have on our table. So for example, we might not see certain things coming, and we might have to make big decisions for things that we just weren't even planning on. So Uranus really doesn't care about your plans. So there could be some surprises this month, especially mid-month near that full moon. And those surprises are going to require us to make adjustments accordingly. Okay. And then the full moon also makes a trine to Chiron. And what that tells me too is, Chiron in Aries, it's where it's been for several years now. So we've been really working internally, we've been working on having confidence in putting ourselves first in a lot of ways. Okay. So, self-esteem is a big aspect of this in a lot of ways. And it's the wounds associated with why we would not experience good self-esteem, for example. And so what this is telling me is that we're going to be faced with decisions that put that to the test, essentially. So are we going to make the decision that is best for us? That's kind of what we're challenged with here. It's like big surprises come, and it's like, well, but wait a minute, what is best for me in this situation? And making sure we stick with that. Okay, so that's really the theme this full moon. I'll have more on that if you, again, follow my Facebook or Instagram or however you follow me. You get more in-depth updates about specific lunations like full moons and new moons, etc., as well as little goings on that are happening throughout the week. Next thing on the list. So we had Jupiter turn direct. Now we have Mars turning direct. We just had Uranus turn direct. So all the planets are turning direct here. In fact, I think the last few days of February, all planets will be in direct motion. Yeah, until Venus actually March 1st. So we'll talk about that next month. March 1st, Venus will be turning retrograde. Okay, and that'll be in Aries. But anyway, Mars has been retrograde since December 6th. So it's been almost a couple months here of Mars retrograde in Cancer, and it started in Leo, back into Cancer, but now it's starting to slow down, and it's going to turn direct at 17 degrees of Cancer on the 23rd of February. Okay, there's Mars right there on the 23rd of February. That's what it will look like. So the Moon is the ruler of Cancer, and here is that Moon in this chart, pretty much directly opposite that Mars. And Mars is not happy or at its happiest in Cancer. Cancer is kind of wishy-washy. Mars is like go get it energy. And so this can turn into like passive aggressiveness, et cetera, especially when it's retrograde in Cancer. And so there's a sense of like not taking action, procrastinating, things like that. And so when Mars goes direct with the Moon, it's going to be a sense of being emotionally driven to move forward. So we're going to be, with that full moon in Leo, followed by this, Mars turning direct in Cancer, opposing the moon. Our feelings are getting lit up for whatever reason, and we're motivated by those feelings. Okay, so we're going to be able to trust our gut in a lot of ways around this time. So anything that's surprising and whatnot, we can be safe that we can trust our gut, especially with Neptune conjunct the North Node in Pisces right now. It's kind of asking us. This is sort of like a month that is saying, you've asked for this. Are you really going to take it? Are you really going to go for it? That's really the kind of energy I'm getting with this. It's almost like we're getting put to the test to see if we'll, again, put ourselves first, put our dreams first. So if you're presented with an opportunity to roll with your dreams, are you going to be scared of it? Are you going to procrastinate? Are you going to, whittle about, etc.? So this month is just challenging us to just follow our feelings and trust our intuition in a lot of ways. And then Mars will also be squaring roughly Venus and the Chiron. So again, that same theme of Chiron and putting ourselves first, etc., with Venus with that stamp on it as well. So it suggests there could be some conflict there where we might question whether what is best for us is the best in the situation, for example. Okay, but that's just to irk us into action, etc. And it'll also be trining Mercury pretty closely, and then Saturn as well. So this again speaks to decision making, kind of the theme I brought up earlier. So yeah, we're gonna probably be challenged to make some decisions based on some surprises. Okay, and challenged to put ourselves first in a lot of ways. As long as we trust our intuition, we should be okay. Then we end the month with the new moon, 10 degrees Pisces. So again, wherever that is in your chart, this is where this is going to be affecting you. So there it is, sun with the moon at about 10 degrees Pisces, a little bit before 10 degrees really, but round up to 10 degrees. That's going to square Jupiter, again, freshly direct now in Gemini, and it's going to trine Mars, which will be freshly direct in Cancer. All that speaks to go time, right? Moving forward motion, moving forward. And so it's speaking to those same themes. And since that's a new moon, we're starting something. So we're starting on our dreams here with the new moon in Pisces, right? And we're challenged with picking out of all our possibilities, picking something and focusing on it. That can be a challenge with this, but we're definitely motivated to go forward. And so that pretty much wraps up February 2025. So again, release, trust, and moving forward with these, retrograde planets turning direct, etc. So there's a sense of getting out of the mud at this point this month. And then when we get to March, like I alluded to before, we're going to have a very interesting month astrologically with Venus turning retrograde, Mercury turning retrograde, and we'll have 2 eclipses. Okay, so pretty big month coming up in March. February is just kind of setting that up. We're getting pushed to move forward, pushed to get things going, and in March is going to happen. And because of what we've decided in February, because of what we started pushing forward, we're going to start seeing some big changes, big shifts, etc. So anyway, thanks for stopping in. I will be back next month for the March update. If you want to get, again, more updates, I do semi-daily posting on Facebook, Sovereign Harmony Astrology, also on Instagram, same thing. Also, even if you do Twitter or if you do Telegram, it's on there as well. And I'm starting to do some Instagram lives about once a week, just to do like a brief, like 5 minute weekly overview. And then those are being posted on this channel as well. So, yeah, stay connected. Enjoy your month. It looks like it's going to be, a time of finally maybe things, turning around, getting out of the mud, etc. So wish you well, and then I'll see you again soon. Bye.